We begin today the Gemara towards the bottom of Daf Mem Zayin Amud Beis, 6 lines up from the bottom of the Amud, where it says, Iboye Lahu. So we're talking over here about a person that brings his kalim or his peiris into someone's property, and he brings it in with rishos. The Mishnah spoke about a case where he brought it in without permission. Here, the Gemara is going to speak about a case where he brought it in with permission. In such a case, the owner of the courtyard takes responsibility for what's going to happen with it. Was a machlokes in the Mishnah in what case he takes responsibility. Does he take responsibility if he gives him rishos? That automatically means that he's taking responsibility. Rabbi says only if he says clearly that I'm taking responsibility, then it's going to be his responsibility. So the Gemara says as Iboye Luhu, the Shiloh was asked in this case where the homeowner took responsibility for what the person brings in. He took responsibility to guard what's being brought in. Mahu. What does that include? Do I say the nafshei hu the kabbalah that the homeowner has his own ox that could come and gore and damage or break kalim or eat up the peiris or so on? He took responsibility that his own ox will not do any damage, but that's it. Or maybe we could say that the responsibility he took upon himself is even more. He took upon himself responsibility that nothing, no other damage, even of any other ox that may stray into this property and come and damage, that he also took upon himself. That's a Shiloh. So the Gemara brings a brayse Tashama, the Tani, Rav Yehuda bar Simon, ben Nizakin de Bekarna. Rav Yehuda bar Simon taught in the brayses of Nizakin that was taught by Karna. And there it says, Hichnis pereisav lochatza balabayis shaloi berishos. You bring your fruits into a person's courtyard without his permission. Now, ubashar mimokim acher, this ox from another place, not the ox of this homeowner, another ox comes along and va'achlan and ate them up. So pater, he's going to be pater for what happened. V'im hichne is berishos, but if you brought your peiris here into this courtyard with permission, then chayiv. And then the shur that comes from another place and eats it, so then you'll be chayiv. So now the Gemara explains, when it says here chayiv and pater, who is it referring to? Who's chayiv, who's pater? On one hand, there's the bala chotzer, so the chayiv and pater could be referring to him, or the chayiv and pater could be referring to the bala shur. This shur that came from somewhere, the owner of the shur allowed his shur to come here and eat. Says the Gemara, man pater or man chayiv? Who's the one that's pater and who's the one that's chayiv that this brayse says? Lav, don't you think? Pater bal chotzer, and v'chayiv bal chotzer. It's referring to the Baal Chotzer. And what the Brayse is saying is that if the Baal Chotzer takes responsibility, then he's going to be chayiv even for a shur from the outside that came in and ate up these peiris here. So that shows that his responsibility that he accepted goes even on somebody else's shur that came here. Ataisus adds to this and explains that at this point the Gemara is thinking that you can't be mechayiv the Baal Shur because we'll have to say that the Baal Shur is a cheresh of a cotton. It's someone that you can't be mechayiv. Okay, so if you can't be mechayiv the Baal Shur, so then the Baal Chotzer, he takes responsibility, so he has to pay not only if his own shur goes and eats up this peiris in the property here, but he has to pay even if someone else's shur that is not going to be obligated to pay. So because you took responsibility, you have to pay for these damages. So we see that that's how far his responsibility goes. So Amri, they answered, no, that's not the pshat in the Brayse. Loi, pater, balashar, v'chayev balashar. Over here, who is it talking about when it says chayev and pater? It's referring not to the Baal Chotzer, it's referring to the balashar, the person that allowed, the owner of the shur is not a cheresh of a cotton, he's a person that can pay, and he allowed his shur to come into the property, and that's what it's saying, that if you placed your fruits there b'rishos, so then he's going to be chayiv, the balashar is going to be chayiv. If you placed it there shaloi b'rishos, he's going to be pater. Okay, but the Gemara right away asks, how does that make sense? V'i balashar, if the one that we're speaking about that would be chayiv here for allowing his shur to go and eat these fruits, my b'rishos or my shaloi b'rishos ikke. What difference does it make if you placed your peiris there with rishos or not rishos? That the rishos over here is the rishos of the Baal Chotzer. He's giving you permission to place your fruits here or not. Either way, whether it's b'rishos shaloi b'rishos, the Baal Shur is not allowed to allow his ox to come and eat up these fruits. So why is the Brayse making a distinction whether you got permission to place your fruits there or not, and saying that if it was rishos, then he's going to be chayiv. If it was without rishos, then he's going to be pater. Answers the Gemara. Amri, that is. So the answer to this question is said as follows. that Bereshos, if you got permission to place your fruits here in this property, so then Havil Oshein Bereshos Anizik. So then this ox that came from outside and ate up these fruits over here. So what is the halacha going to be here? It's an ox that's eating. What's the halacha of Shein? We learned already earlier in the Masechta. When an ox eats, you only chayiv if that takes place in the Reshus of the Nizik, in the private property of who he damaged. Then he's chayiv. And the Shein B'Reshus HaNizik chayev is because the one that placed his fruits there got permission to put his fruits there. So now it's like his private place. He got permission to put it there. So the shirk comes and eats it. You're going to be chayiv for this. But Shalei B'Reshus, if the one that placed down his fruits here didn't have any permission to put it there, so it's not even your place. So then, Havil Hashem B'Reshus HaRabim is just like when you're leaving your produce in the Reshus HaRabim and an ox comes by and eats from it, that the owner of the ox is potter for that. So over here as well, when you left your fruits in a place where you're not supposed to leave it there, so then V'Shem B'Reshus HaRabim Petura, Shein in Reshus HaRabim is potter. So here as well, if you brought it Shalei B'Reshus, so then you can't be mechayiv this shor that came and ate it here. That's the pshat in this price. So there's no rayata originally by. Another brayse, same kind of halacha in this brayse, but here talks about a shor that gored. Tashama, the brayse here says, Hichnes shor l'chatza balabais. You brought your ox into someone's private property, shaloi b'reshus, without any permission. Now over here again, what happened is that not the shor of the homeowner came and damaged your ox that you brought in here, but a boshem and mokim acher, an ox from outside came, v'nokchay, and gored this ox that you brought in without permission. So pater will be pater. You brought it in without permission. If you bring your ox into this property with permission, then chayiv, an ox that comes from outside and damages and gores your ox, he'll be chayiv for that. So again, the Gemara explains when it says here pater and chayiv, who is it referring to? Man pater or man chayiv? So don't you think the pshat of here is pater bal chotzer and v'chayiv bal chotzer? It goes on the Bal Chotzer. And therefore, what is it saying here? That as long as you brought in your shor b'reshus, so now the owner of the courtyard is going to be responsible for damages that a shor from the outside causes. So that shows how far there's responsibility goes even to that extent. So the Gemara answers, no, it's not the pshat here. Loi, pater bal ashor, v'chayav bal ashor. What it's saying is that if you brought your shor into this courtyard b'reshus, so then the shor from outside the damage, the bal ashor will be chayiv. If you brought it in shaloi b'reshus, then the bal ashor will be pater. But again, the Gemara asks the same question. Ihachi, if we're talking over here about whether the bal ashor is chayiv or pater, my b'reshus or my shaloi b'reshus ikke. What difference does it make if you brought your shor here with reshus or without reshus? Again, that's the reshus of the bal chotzer. But as far as the owner of the shor is concerned, it should make no difference. He's not allowed to allow his shor to come here and gore your ox here. And I hear you can't give the answer the Gemara said before. Before the Gemara was speaking about when that shor from the outside came and ate the produce. So over there, regarding Shein, you only chayiv if it's b'reshus HaNizik. But here we're talking about goring. So goring shouldn't make any difference. So why is it difference if it's b'reshus or shaloi b'reshus? So the Gemara answers, even regarding goring, there is a difference if it's reshus or not. Because Omri, they answer as follows. Mani, who does this brayse go according to? Rav Tarfoni. Follows the opinion of Rav Tarfon. Now what's Rav Tarfon's opinion? We learned this before in the Masechta. The Amar, Rav Tarfon said, Mishune keren b'chotzer hanizik nezek shalom mishalem. That Rav Tarfon says, even though the halacha of an animal that gores with its horns is that if it's a tam, it only pays chatzi nezek, but if it happened in the private property of the nizik, even the first time, even as a tam, you do pay nezek shalom. If you remember, we had this before. Rav Tarfon learned it with a kal v'chaimer. That in the reshus hanizik you pay keren shalom. So therefore, we can understand why the brayse makes a distinction between reshus and not reshus. B'reshus, if you brought your ox over here into this property with permission, so then havile keren b'chotzer hanizik. So then this ox from the outside that comes and gores your ox here in this property, he's goring your ox, and it's your place. It's the reshus hanizik. Why? Because you have reshus to be here. Mishalem nezek shalom, and therefore he's going to have to pay nezek shalom for this. Shaloi b'reshus, if you have no reshus to bring your ox in here, and now an ox from the outside comes and gores your ox, so then have it like keren b'reshus harabim. It's the same like an ox that gores in a public place where you don't have your specific reshus. It's not your private property to be here, and therefore v'le mishalem ela chatzi nezek, and therefore you only pay chatzi nezek. So the Gemara is reinterpreting the words of the brayse. When the brayse said chayiv and pater, it doesn't mean pater completely. It means chayiv nezek shalem, or pater from nezek shalom, but you'll still be chayiv chatzi nezek, like Rav Tarfon's opinion.
So Karen's chayiv and Reshus HaRabim and Shein is not.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the stringency that there is in Keren. Yeah. We had it before in the Masechta already, Barichas. Okay, the Gemara brings a story that's related to this whole halacha that we're learning about bringing something into someone's property. Hahi Itze, there was a woman.
Why should the Rishus make so much after it's part private place?
No, but it's his private place. It's not your private place. As far the Bala Shor that brought his Shor into here, for him it's not his Rishus HaNizik. It's someone else's private Rishus, but it's not your Rishus. So if the Shor is mazik you, it's not your Rishus. Hahi Itze, the also Lemeife Bahu Beisa. So there was a woman that went up into someone's house to bake in his oven. So she went in over here with a shus. This homeowner has an oven that he rents out and people can use it, or they borrow, they use his oven. So she came in to bake her bread in this oven. Also, Barcha the mother de Beise, a goat from the homeowner came, Ochlo Lelisha, and the goat ate up this dough. And chavil umis, and it actually harmed this. The dough that it ate wasn't good for the goat, and it died. So now chayve Rava l'shlume demei barche. Rava said that this woman has to pay for the goat that her dough caused damage. That the goat ate this dough and died because of this. So you have to pay for this. So the Gemara explains, Leime pligat Rav. Shall we say that Rav is arguing with what we learned before, what Rav said? Rav says that Haviyalo Shaloi Toichal. Rav before said that any time an animal comes and eats something that you bring in and that causes a damage to this animal, it dies because of what it ate, that's something you can't be responsible before. If it slips on something, so that happens memela, that you're chayav for. But if it's doing an action itself and eating, you're only called a grama and you're going to be potter for that. So over here, in this case, the goat came and ate. Why should you be chayav for this? So the Gemara answers, you can't compare what Rav said to what the case that Rav is talking about over here. Why? Amri, the answer to this, Hachi Ashta. How could you compare the two things? Hasam, where did Rav say is halacha? Shaloi b'rishus. When you bring your things in without any rishus. Then over there, Rav said that loy kibul aleinu tirusa, you didn't accept upon yourself. You bring something in shaloi b'rishus, you're not accepting upon yourself that you're going to guard any damages that what you brought in will cause. So over there, in that case, Rav said that you're going to be potter if the damage of what you brought in was caused how? If the animal ate from it. Because if the animal ate from it, it's a grama and you're potter. But hacha, over here it's a different story. B'rishus, over here, this woman that came to bake her bread in this oven, she's coming in with permission. If she comes in with permission, kabel Allah nitirusa. The permission that she's being given is a permission to come in, but to take responsibility that she'll behave here properly and she'll be careful that her dough won't cause any damage to the homeowner's goat. So she took that responsibility upon herself by entering B'rishos. She's taking that responsibility upon herself. So therefore, in such a case, if she's taking that responsibility, so that even if the damage is caused by the goat eating it, she'll still be responsible for that. Okay, now this point over here, the Gemara will ask that we see clearly this thing that when you get permission to come into a property, what that means is that you now have to take responsibility that what you're bringing in here should not cause any damage to the animal of the homeowner. It's not so simple. We learned before that if you come in with permission, you don't take any responsibility not to cause any damages to the homeowner. And so why over here all of a sudden is the Gemara saying, because you came in with permission. Permission also means that you take responsibility not to cause any damage. Who says? So the Gemara right away asks, we brought this.
You should know there was a goat around there.
Yeah, right. Let's see. So the Gemara here brings, this is the Gemara here brings the Braisa we learned yesterday. What does it say? Why should this case be any different? We had before the Gemara the case of a woman that comes in and she's bringing her grain to grind in the mill of a balabas. And she came in without any permission. And the homeowner's animal came and ate up her grain. Potter. It's going to be potter. And if the homeowner's animal got damaged by this, the Gemara before explained that means that the animal slipped on this, so then she'll be responsible for this. Why? Because she came in without permission. So what do we see from what we learned over there in that price? The only reason she's responsible for any damages that her grain causes to this animal is because she came in without permission. But as if she comes in with permission, potter, then she's going to be potter for the damages that her grain causes to this animal. So why are we saying over here that you came in with permission? You have to take responsibility for the damage that you caused to this animal. Okay, so the Gemara explains, no, over here it's a different case. Here the Gemara says a very interesting thing. Coming in to grind in a mill and coming in to bake bread, the action, the way a woman does it is not the same thing. Omri, they said as follows. If you're coming in to grind, when a woman comes to place her grain into the mill and it's going to grind it, it's not activity that a woman does that she's going to expose any part of her body, that she wants to do this in privacy because she wants to be modest. So it's not necessary for her to do this privately. So the owner of the chatzah that's allowing this woman in does not have to go away from that area. So therefore, it's the homeowner that's allowing this woman to come in, and when he gives her permission to come in, the homeowner that's going to still be present, he has to take responsibility for any damages that will be caused over here. Just if she gets permission, she doesn't have to take responsibility for the damages. Adarabah, she's getting permission, and the homeowner is going to be there to take care of everything. That's in that case. Aval over here, lemeifa, when a woman comes in to bake, kivin the boy heats niyusa, coming in to bake, so she's kneading and she's working with the dough. What happens over here is, because her arms get uncovered, so therefore she doesn't want the owner to be around, so marvasa the chatzah, the owner of the chatzah, misalkin afshayu, he leaves and he allows her to do her work in privacy, and she knows that she's coming in with that condition, that the homeowner is going to be away. That's why Dafka over here, when she comes in to do such kind of activity where she knows the homeowner is going to go away, she's accepting upon herself that she's the only one present here now. She's the one to do it in privacy. So she's going to have to be sure, she's going to be the one responsible that her dough or whatever she's bringing in is not going to cause any damage to the animals of the balabas. Therefore over here, if the goat ate from the dough and died, that's why Rav said that she'll be responsible. That's a shpah in this case.
If that was a case of eating, the damage is eating.
Yeah, but so even that,
falling. It's not going to be.
It's true, it's anachanami, but once she took responsibility, so then even the eating, she's going to be chayiv. The case of Rav before was when she came in shaloi b'rishus, and over there was you didn't beferish take responsibility to guard. So over there we say that the animal went and ate itself, you're going to be potter. But when you take responsibility, and that's coming in such a kind of case where you're demanding sort of privacy because you're doing a private activity where the woman needs that privacy. Over here, she's taking responsibility. It includes even this, that the goat might eat it. You have to pay for this.
So that means the chayyim only can go in there when the person's there when she's teichen.
Yeah, okay. When by tchina, then yes, she could expect that the owner will be there. And there's no reason for the owner not to be there. It's his property, and he has to be around, and he has to take care of his stuff. He has to take care of his animals. If he decides to leave, that's his problem. But by the baking, you're expecting the owner to leave because you want to do your work privately. In such a case, it's your responsibility. Okay, what did it say weiter in the Mishnah? Hichnis shoyroi lochatza balabayis. Said you brought your ox into the chatzah of the balabayis. So the Mishnah said that it depends if you brought it in bereshus or you brought it in shaloi bereshus. Okay, so now here the Mishnah is going to bring certain halachas that we can learn about bringing your ox into someone's private property. Omar Rave, so Rave said, Hichnis shoyroi lochatza balabayis shaloi bereshus. You bring your ox into someone's property without his permission, and then what happened is v'chafa ba b'yre shichin u'mayres. Your ox is wild and it goes and it digs a pit inside, or it digs a shichin, a midas, a cave. It digs different kinds of holes in the property. It damages the property. So Balashar Chai b'niskei chatzah. The Balashar is going to be responsible for the damages that his ox caused over here in this property. It ruined his property. But now the price of Rava that is so those says a big chiddush. On the other hand, ubal chatzar, but the owner of this chatzar is going to be chayiv b'niskei habar. He'll be chayiv with any damages that could now be caused by this boir that's here, even though the shayr is the one that dogged the boir. Now Rashi explains what we're talking about over here is that the Baal HaChatzer was mafkir, the area of this property where the shayr was brought in, Because that's the case of Boyer. You only chayav for Boyer if you mafka the area, and he was mafka the area, and now it becomes a public place, and people could come in here. And there's the Boyers that are there, that the share dog, but the Bala Chatzah that was mafka this area is going to be the one that's going to be chayav for those Boyers that are there in this area. If someone falls into it, someone gets damaged in it. Okay. One second. The Gemara will explain over here. So again, the Bala Chatzah is the one that's chayav. Yeah, now something more explains. Now you can ask on this, why should you be chayav for this bar altogether? Didn't the master once say, and we had this before, it says in the pasuk, Ki yichre ish bar, if a man digs a bar and then someone falls into it, so you chayav for that, but v'loi shar bar. But not if a shar digs a bar. If a shar digs a bar, you're not chayav for this. Over here, the shar came in and dug the bar, and now the homeowner or the owner of this property is mafka the place. So now you have a bar here that's exposed to people coming in here and outside of Shusar Rabin, but it's the shar that dug it. You didn't dig it. And it's the Gemara, but it's not. But over here, you're still going to be responsible. Kivin the isleila eichle meluye, because you over here should have filled this bar before you were mafkir it. It was dug while it was still yours. Why are you going and being mafkir it before you're filling it up, before you're making it safe for people to come in here? V'loy kamalye, and he didn't fill up this bar, so therefore kiman de karye dami. If you're being mafkir it, you know that there's a bar here, and you're being mafkir this area without filling up the bars, so then it's as if you filled it. It's as if you dug this bar by yourself. Right? So if there's a bar that are share dog in that you're share dog in the Rishus Rabim, and then someone falls into this bar, then you're going to be potter. But if the share dug the bar in your private Rishus, and then you go intentionally and amafka this area for people to come here and fall into this bar, so then in such a case you're going to be chayiv for not filling in this bar.
Why isn't the owner of the share?
Because he wasn't mafka the area. He wasn't.
Owner of the share.
Yeah, but the owner of the share wasn't mafka this area. When the owner of the share dug the virus in this private property, nobody can walk in here. No one's going to get damaged. The owner of the share is going to be responsible for the damages that he causes to the property. That he ruined this person's property. He's going to have to pay the Bala Chatzah for ruining the property. But for the fact that people fall into the Bayer, the Bala Shar will say, I wasn't mafka this area to allow people to make this a public place for people to come in. Why should I be responsible for any damages that happen?
The owner of the share is responsible to pay for the cost of filling up the bar?
Yeah, that he is responsible for. Yeah. Okay.
But if Balabos gets hurt.
And then if the Balabas gets paid for that, right, and he doesn't use the money to do that, and then he goes and is mafkid it and other people fall in, so then he's going to be responsible for this. Another halacha Rava said, you brought your share into someone's private property without permission. The hizik is balabayas, and now your share went and gored and damaged the homeowner himself. Or balabayas huzakbay. Or even if it didn't mamish directly go and damage him, but the homeowner here was doing his work and he bumped into this shirt that was brought in there and he got damaged. So chayiv. So the person that brought in the shirt without a shus is going to be chayiv for this damages. Ravatz, however, Rava says, if your shirt just lies down and then the homeowner trips over it and gets damaged, potter. Then the one that brought in the shirt will be potter. That's what it seems like Rava is saying. But the Gemara right away asks, that can't be what Rava meant to say. Why? Mishum de Ravatz, because your animal lied down, so therefore potter, you'll be potter for any damages that it causes to this homeowner here. Why should you be potter? You brought your shar here without a shus, and the homeowner trips over it, you should be responsible for those damages. Rav Papa explains, my Ravatz, what does it mean that when Rava said that Ravatz doesn't mean that it lied down. What it means is Shehibitz Galolim. What it means is that this animal dropped Galolim. It dropped dung over here in this property. And now what happened is, V'nitnefu kelov shal balabayis. The kalim, the clothing, or whatever other garments or dishes of the balabas get dirty from this Galolim that was now dropped here in the rishus of the balabas. It's for this that the balashar is going to be potter. Why is it going to be potter? Because this is not a damage of the shar. You brought in a shar over here. If your shar causes damage, for that you chayiv. But for the glolim, that's not the damage of the shar itself. What is the damage of the glolim called? The havya glolim bar. The glolim that it dropped there, that's mazik, that's the mazik of bar. What's a bar? A bar is when you leave a damage in a certain area, whether it's a pit, or as we learned before in the Masechta, it could be avnes, akina, masah, you leave something in a certain area that causes damage. Over here, this shar left glolim, and it causes damage, and therefore, We don't find bar that would be chayiv on kalim. So therefore, you're going to be potter for the kalim that it damages. Okay, but Rashi over here points out that you're only going to be potter for the kalim. But l'chayri, you could argue with the Gemara just brought before the drasha that if a shar digs a bar, if a man digs a bar, you're chayiv for the bar. But if a shar digs a bar, you're potter for it. Over here, the shar is the one that dropped the glolim. The man didn't dig the bar, the shar dropped the glolim. Why should you be chayiv at all? Why is it saying that this is a bar, you'll be chayiv for it? You'll only be potter for kalim, because that's always the halacha by a bar, chamar v'loy kalim, that you're potter for kalim. So Rashi says it's similar to the point that we learned before, where the person had the bayit in his rishos, and he should have filled it, and he went and it was mafkirit, and he didn't fill it, and he allowed people to come in there. So over here as well, when your shirt drops galolim, and when the shirt dropped galolim, the shirt belongs to you, and it's dropping the galolim from your shirt, you have to clean that up. And if you don't clean that up, then you're going to be chayiv for this. Right, so that actually brings what we learned before in the Masechta. If you remember in Perek HaMeniach, if a person has a gomel that trips in the street and it drops things in the street, so now you have the responsibility to pick that up. Even though it's your gomel that dropped these things, it's not you that did it, but you have the responsibility to pick it up. And Taisus over here has, especially if it happened in a oifen that it's a pshia. So over here, you know that a shar every once in a while drops galolim. So this is something that is not a oinus. So if your shirt drops that there, you have responsibility to pick it up. The very fact that you didn't pick it up, that's why it's as if you dug this bar. It's as if you placed those galolim there. And therefore you're going to be chayiv for this as a bar. But the Gemara now says, Haniche l'shmuel. The fact that we're considering these galolim here in this private property to be a bar, that's all according to Shmuel. The Omar, because Shmuel says, Kol takala bayru. Anytime you have any stumbling block, even if it's in a private place and it's owned by a private person, that is part of the din of bar that the Torah says Yechayev for damages that it causes. Elul Rav the Omar, however, Rav disagrees. Rav says, Ad the mafkele, that for bar you're not chayev unless it's hefker. The whole halacha of bar is when you dig it in a reshus harabim, or even if you dig it in a private place, but then you made it hefker. So over here, Michael Meimar, how can we explain what Rava said? Over here, it's the galolim seemingly is not hefker. So the Gemara answers, Omri, they explained, Stam galolim afkuri mafkalahu. These galolim, after the galolim are dropped there, it's usually the Baal Hashir is mafkirit. So now that he's mafkirit, even according to Rav, it will have the halacha of a bar. Third halacha, Rava said, Vamar Rava, nichnes lachatza balabayis shaloi b'rishus. So here it's talking about a person himself. He walks into someone's property, an intruder comes into a person's property without permission. V'hizikas balabayis, and he damaged the balabas, whether intentionally or unintentionally, got into a fight with him, or unintentionally he did something and he damaged him. Oy balabais huzak boy, or the balabas got damaged in him, and this happened just mamish by chance. That he bumped into him. This person walked, an intruder walks into your property, and the balabas bumps into him. So chayiv, he came in without permission. You chayiv any damages, any injury that you cause. Hizika balabais. On the other hand, the balabas damages the person that walked in. Potter, you're going to be potter for this because you didn't get the intruder. Doesn't have a right to be here. Amar Rav Papa, so Rav Papa says, when it says that the balabas that injured the person, the intruder that walked in, that's only if when he injured him, what happened? He was walking on his way and he was doing something and he injured him. Whether he bumped into him or even if he directly with his hand injured him, but he didn't do it mamish with a kavanah to punch him in the face and anyway then he wanted to injure him. Didn't realize. I will have a yodabay. But if the homeowner knows that this person is here and he mamish intentionally goes and hits him and injures him, he's zika balabai is chai. Then the balabas that injured him will be chai for this. Why? My time, mishum da amalei, because the person, the intruder, can say to the balabas, yeah, you have the right to pick me up and get me out of your property, but la zuke les lach but you don't have the right to go and directly hit me, punch me in the face, and to injure me. For that, he will be chayiv. Says the Gemara of Ozl, Tamayu, both Rava and Rav Papa, they follow their opinion. They said elsewhere, the Amar Rava. So this is either Rava following his opinion or Rav Papa. Either Rava said of Yitem and Rav Papa that Shneim b'Rishus. If there are two people that are in a place and they both have Rishus to be there, that's Rashi says whether in Rishus Harabim or if they're partners in this Chotzer or if the homeowner gave him Rishus to come in here. Or Shneim Shaloi b'Rishus, or they're both here and they don't have permission to be there. So Hizik is as if they're mazik one another Chayovin. So then they're going to be chayav for damages, that they were mazik one another. And again, this is whether this was b'chavana or shalei b'chavana, but we're talking about an action that you did directly b'yadayim. Husku zebezeh. However, if they just stumbled upon one another, husku means not only it was shalei b'chavana, but it's they mamish just stumbled upon one another, they just bumped into one another. So then peturim, for that you're going to be pater, because if they both have rishus to be here and they stumbled upon one another, so then for that you pater. We learned to read this before in Perek HaMeniach, this Inyan. Okay, now that's what they said. Now from this we understand the reason why we say this halacha that if they damage one another, so then they're going to be chayiv. That's if they were both there b'rishus, or they're both in a place where they're there shalei b'rishus. Okay, aval echad b'rishus ve'echad shalei b'rishus. If one person is there b'rishus, it's his property, and another person is there shalei b'rishus, it's not his property. The b'rishus pater, the one that's mazik b'rishus is going to be pater, and that's whether he did it b'yadayim or whether he did it without realizing. He's going to be pater. Right? But again, this is all only if he didn't have kavana to be mazikim. So then he's going to be pater. Right? If he had kavana to be mazikim, he's going to be chayiv. Shaloi b'rishos, the one that's there, shaloi b'rishos, is going to be chayiv. He's going to be chayiv whatever damage he causes to the homeowner, even if the homeowner just stumbles over him, he's going to be chayiv because he's there, shaloi b'rishos. Okay, going back to the Mishnah, it said in the Mishnah, nofal lebar, you brought in your ox into someone's private property without permission, and now there was a pit of water, and your ox fell into this pit of water, vehivish meimov, and it caused the water to become bad. You can't drink the water, you can't use the water anymore. Chayiv, you're responsible for the damages that you caused to this water. Amar Rav explains, you're chayiv for this that you made the water go bad right when the shor falls in. This shor was very dirty, and right when it falls in, it causes the water to become dirty right away. If the shor is totally clean and it falls in, but then later what happened? The shor dies. And now there's an nevela inside the water. And eventually this nevela gives out a bad odor and it causes the water to go bad. For that, you're going to be potter. Because that's already an indirect damage. That's called already a groma after it fell in and now it becomes a nevela. For that, you're going to be potter. And the Gemara explains my time. The Gemara here says, the hezber that I said, maybe is negated to the Gemara later. Yeah, the Gemara later will say the hezber here that I just said. But right now the Gemara says a different hezber. Why you potter if it damages when it's a nevela? Because have a shor bar. This shor that falls in, so if the shor right when it falls in causes the damage, so then this is considered to be that the source of the damage is coming from an ox. But if the ox when it fell in did not cause the damage, first the ox died, and only afterwards as a dead carcass it's causing the damage, so then this is not called a shor amazik. The shor now has a halacha like a bar, because the shor is now dead. So it's like a bar that's dead, that's in one place, and it causes damage. And so that's the halacha of the shor at this point. Umayim, and the water that it's causing to go bad is like kalim. Has the halacha like kalim. Why? Because what's the halacha by a bar? Any kalim, any item that a person owns that's just kalim, which means that it's not alive, it's not just inanimate, like that's what kalim are. Mayim, water of a bar, has the same halacha like kalim. And therefore, your shor that has the halacha like a bar now, because it's dead, and it's damaging the water, which has a halacha like kalim, you're going to be potter for that. A shor, which is a bar, that is the shor is now a bar, and it damages the water, which is like kalim, you're going to be potter for that. That's the first hezbollah the Gemara says for what Rava said. But on this the Gemara asks, Hanichel Shmuel. This is a good explanation according to Shmuel. The Amma, because Shmuel says, Kol takala boirhu. Any stumbling block has the halacha of a boir, even when it's not hefker. But Rav says by boir, it's only has the halacha of a boir if it's hefker. So how can we explain what Rav said? So therefore the Gemara explains differently. If you learned what Rav said, this is what Rav was saying. Omar Rav, what Rav said is that the only time when you're going to be chayiv for the damage that it causes is if it caused a bad smell that came from the animal itself. However, if it was from the reich of the animal, then you're going to be potter. Right? So in other words, the reich of the animal came from it when it was an avela. Okay, so I jumped ahead before when I explained the Gemara in the beginning. the Gemara before, when it said Hivish b'shas nefila, avla acha nefila, so the acha nefila over there, it's not talking necessarily when it became a nevela. Over there, the Gemara, in the beginning, the Gemara thought that the Rava was making a distinction whether the shor was mazik right when it fell in, or it was mazik afterwards, when it was inside the bayit already. But here now the Gemara is saying what Rava meant to say is, was the shor mazik as soon as it fell into the bayit, and therefore the shor itself is dirty, and it caused the water to be dirty? Or no, the shor wasn't dirty, but then the shor died, and the nevela is what caused the water to get bad, to go bad. So then that's when Rava said that you're going to be potter. And here Rava says explanation is my time and what's the difference? Because grame ba'almahu, if the shor itself as soon as it fell in did not cause the damage, then it's only a grame ba'almahu le mechayev. And for a grame itself, you're not going to be chayev. If it's the shor itself when it falls in, that's a direct damage that the shor is causing. For that you're chayev. But the fact that it stays there afterwards and the nevela causes the smell and it goes bad, that's a grame. For that you're potter. The next thing it said in the Mishnah, if the father or a son were inside that pit, and now the shor falls into this pit, and it kills the father or the son, so mishalem is a kaifer. You have to pay the shor that fell onto the father and the son. You're going to have to pay kaifer for this. Okay, so the Gemara asks, V'amai, why do you have to pay kaifer here? Hatamhu. We're talking here about a shor. The Gemara assumes that the shor is a tam. A shor doesn't usually fall into pits. So if this happened, it seems to be that this is like an accident. The shor was walking, and it walked into a pit. And there was a person inside the pit, and the person died. Why do you have to pay kaifer for this? The rule is, we had before in the Masechta, you never pay kaifer for a tam. Amarav, so Rav answers, B'muid lipoil al b'nei adam b'bayris. That this shor, this happened already, this is the third time this is happening. This shor already fell in, or the fourth time that it's happening. The shor already fell in, already 3 times into a bayir this way, and it caused the person that's inside a bayir to die. So therefore, it's already a mu'at for this. So therefore, you pay kaifer. But if that's the case, if so, why is the Mishnah saying only that you have to pay kaifer? If so, the shor itself, once it's a mu'ad, the halacha by a shor that's a mu'ad that kills a person, so you have to put the shor itself to death. Why doesn't it say that in the Mishnah? Rav Yosef, so Rav Yosef's answer is, no, the shor itself is not going to be chayiv skila because it happened shalei b'chavana. The chaze yeruke v'nafal. It saw a yeruke, it saw vegetables inside the bar. There were people inside the bar. But the shor also saw vegetables there inside the bar. And therefore it walked into the bar to get the vegetables. And that's how it fell in, and it damaged and it killed the person. So regarding stoning the shor to death, you don't do that. Because when a shor kills a person, shalei b'chavana, you don't stone the shor to death. But regarding kaifer, you still have to pay the kaifer for this. Okay, there's a lengthy discussion over here in Rashi and Taisus about this, because there was a machlekes about this earlier in the Masechta, whether you pay kaifer in a case where the shor is not put to death. According to one opinion, you only pay kaifer when the shor is put to death. According to another opinion, no, they're not dependent on each other. Even if the shor is not put to death, you still pay the kaifer. Rashi here actually says that even according to the opinion that you don't pay kaifer if the shor is not put to death, but he'll agree that in this case you do pay the kaifer. Rashi explains that halacha that they're dependent on each other is only regarding negiche, by goring. But over here we're talking about the animal that went in because it wanted to eat. It wanted to eat from the yerek. That's a different halacha. And over here everybody agrees that you pay the kaifer even if the shor is not put to death. This is one pshat in our Mishnah. Shmuel says another pshat in our Mishnah. Why are you paying the kaifer if the shor is a tam? It just stumbled and fell into this bayir. Amani Rabbi Yossi Aglili. This is Rabbi Yossi Aglili's opinion. The Amar Rabbi Yossi Aglili disagrees with everyone, and he says tam mishalem chatzi kaifer. Even for tam, you do pay half a kaifer. The third pshat the Gemara says Ula Amar Rabbi Yossi Aglili. This is Rabbi Yossi Aglili. The Amar Kerab Tarfin, and the Rabbi Yossi Aglili holds like Rab Tarfin. What does Rab Tarfin say? Like we already quoted before here on the blot. The Amar Rab Tarfin says Keren. B'chatzer hanizik nezek shalem mishalem. That keren even has a tam, but if it's in the private property of the nizik, you pay nezek shalem. So hachanami here as well, kaifer shalem mishalem. So even as a tam, you pay kaifer, and you actually don't even pay half kaifer. You pay the full kaifer because according to Rav Tarfon, this happened in the private property of the nizik. So you pay the full kaifer. So now the Gemara says, Bishleim Ula, according to the last pshat here, that the Gemara said, according to Ula, that's why it says over here, Haya Aviv Ay Benoi L'Teichai. that the father or the son of the homeowner of this property, they were inside the bayr, and the shor fell in and killed them, and you're going to be chayiv to pay the full kaifer. We understand why it used the example of the father and the son. What's unique about this example? So Rashi explains, because it's the Mishnah is trying to say that the people that were inside this bayr, it's their private place. They have permission to be there. They're the son or the father of this homeowner. So because it's their private place, so your shor is killing somebody, which is b'rishos hanizek. They have permission to be there. So therefore you pay the full kaifer. If it would just be someone else that was in the bayr that has no permission to be there, you wouldn't have to pay the full kaifer, because it's not rishos hanizek. You don't have permission to be there. But according to Shmuel's pshat, that you pay half a kaifer. Why is it saying dafka the father or the son? It could be anybody. Anybody that the shor killed, you have to pay half a kaifer for this. Nami, the same halacha should apply as well. So the Gemara answers, you're right. Orcha de milsa katani. The Brisa is just saying, it's saying that usually who's inside the bar, someone that lives there, the father or the son of the person that lives there. Just the Mishnah just gave an example. Okay, now then the Mishnah said, V'im hichnes v'rishos bal chotza chayiv. The Mishnah says, if you bring in your things into the person's property with rishos, so then he's going to be chayiv. The bal chotza is going to be chayiv. He gave you permission to bring your stuff in here, he's going to be chayiv. And then what did we learn in the Mishnah? Rabbi disagrees. Rabbi says that the bal chotza has to verbally take responsibility. Only then is he going to be chayiv. But if he stam gave you rishos, then the bal chotza is not going to be chayiv. Says the Gemara, Itme Rav Ama Hilchase the Ketana Kama. Rav Paskins like the Tana Kama. Shmuel Ama Hilchase Kerebi. Shmuel says the halacha is like Rabbi. So here the Gemara brings a brayse, which the reisha and the seifa of the brayse will seemingly contradict itself regarding this halacha, whether we paskin like Rabbi or like the Rabbanon. So Tana Rabbanon and a brayse we learned as follows: a person tells someone, an owner of a chatzar tells someone, Kenai Sharcha, you can bring your oxen to my rishus, but V'shamroi, you have to guard it. So then hizik chayiv. If this ox now gores and damages someone, something over here in this chatzar, he'll be chayiv because he has to guard it. Huzak, if it got damaged, potter, then the homeowner will be potter. He told him, you take responsibility. Now that's the reisha. The Sefer here says, if he tells him, Kunor shercha va'ani eshmerenu, the homeowner clearly says, I will guard it. So then, huzak chayiv, if this shor that was brought in got damaged, so then the homeowner clearly took responsibility, he'll be chayiv. Hizik, if the shor damages, then potter, then the bala shor is going to be potter, because the homeowner took clearly responsibility. Says the Gemara, ha gufakashya, the reisha and the seifa of this brayse, if you medayik, it ends up being a contradiction. Why? Because Amrit and the reisha you say, Knoir sharcha v'shamroi, only if the homeowner tells him clearly, you guard it, then you say, hizik chayiv, huzak potter. That the person, the bala shor is going to be chayiv if it damages, and whatever damages happens to it, the homeowner will be potter. So now what could you learn out from the brayse? Taime the amal shamre. This is only because the homeowner told the bala shor, you guard it. The chayav bala shor, or potter bala chotzer. So then the bala shor will be responsible, and the bala chotzer is going to be potter. Hostome, if he comes in with permission and he doesn't tell him clearly, you guard your shor, then what's going to be the halacha if you bring something in with rishos, stam, chayav bal chotzer, or potter bala shor? Then the bala chotzer will be chayav, and the bala shor is going to be potter. Dibistome, because if you stam give him rishus to come in, the bala chotzer is taking upon himself responsibility. This is the opinion of the Rabbanon, that when you give permission, automatically the bala chotzer, it means he's taking responsibility. On the other hand, in the Sefer, what does it say in the Sefer of this brayse? That the brayse says the homeowner has to say beferish, I will guard it. So then, huzak chayiv, hizik potter. So then he took responsibility. So if the shor got damaged, the bala chotzer is going to be chayiv, and if the shor damaged, the bala shor will be potter. What do we see over here? The only reason the bala chotzer is chayiv because he beferish took responsibility. So then who the chayiv bala chotzer or potter bala shor? So the bala chotzer is chayiv and the bala shor is potter. Ha stame. But if he gives him permission to come in and he doesn't clearly say, I'm taking responsibility, then Chaya Balashar, Pata Balachatzer. Then the Balashar will be responsible and the Balachatzer will be Pater. Because if you allow with permission but you don't say clearly you're taking responsibility, you're not taking responsibility. So the Seif is like Rabbi's opinion, that he's only taking responsibility if he says it clearly. So the question is, Reisha Rabbanon, the Reisha of the Brais is the Rabbanon, and the Seif is Rabbi. So the Gemara over here says a few answers to this. Omar Rabbi Elazar's answer is, you're right. Tavra, you have to break this Brais into half. Misha Shana Zu, Lo Shana Zu. The opinion of the Reisha is not the opinion of the Sefer. The Reisha is the Rabbanon, and the Sefer is Rabbi. Rava says, no, Kula Rabbanani. Really, this entire Brais is all the Rabbanon. But because in the Reisha it used the expression of Shamrai, Tana Sefer Vaniyish Merenu. So in the Sefer it uses the same expression of Vaniyish Merenu. But really, the Balachatzer does not have to clearly say Vaniyish Merenu, because it's following the Rabbanon, and just if he allows him in Stam, he's going to have to take responsibility. So it's all the Rabbanon. Rav Papa says the opposite. Kula Rebbe. Really, the entire Braise is all Rebbe. And therefore, in the Sefer, it says only when he took Befedish responsibility, then he's going to be responsible. So then the question is, so then why in the Reisha does it say that he's telling this person, you have to guard it? And from that we will medayik that if it was Stameh, then the Balachatzer will be responsible. That's not like Rebbe. Says the Gemara, because V'savala could have tarfin. In this Reisha, where it's saying that he told the Balashar, you take responsibility, there's another relevance for that. Because this follows Rav Tarfon's opinion that we brought before. What did Rav Tarfon say? Rav Tarfon says, that if your share gores, but it's in the private property of the Nizik, Nezek Shalem Shalem. You have to pay Nezek Shalem. So over here, there will be a difference if you give Rishos for the Balashar to come in, or if you give the shire permission and you tell him you guard your shire. There's going to be a difference. Why? Hilkach amalei shamrei. If you tell him befedish that you should guard your shire, so then what does that mean? Why is he telling him you guard your shire? What he's telling him is, this is not your chatzar. You have no, I'm not giving you any space over here in the chatzar. So so therefore, if this shire comes and gores and damages over here, in this chatzar, you're damaging the bala chatzar. It belongs to the bala chatzar. I allowed you to come in here, but I told you befedish, you have to guard your shire. So therefore, in such a case, and therefore you're going to have to pay the full damages. But if you didn't clearly tell him that you should guard your shire when you come in here, so then you're allowing him to bring his shire in here. You're giving him space. You're telling him that this shire is now shared with you. You can bring your shire in here and you have a shared space over here. So therefore, then it becomes like a chatzah of partners. The kerem, the chatzah hashutfin, einem mishalem ala chatzi nezek, and therefore you're only going to pay chatzi nezek. So in the Reisha, when it brought up this shamrai, it's only bringing it up for this detail, to say that you pay nezek shalim when he told him shamrai, because then he's making it clear you have no partnership in sharing the usage of this property. But it's not a steer over here, and it's all happy.